Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, guys. Booker T, along with my man Brad Gilmore. We talking about the the event. Let's call it. That's what we're gonna call it. We're gonna call it the event.
Let's do that.
Mayweather versus Logan Paul. And on the undercard, Chad Johnson, former football player, made his boxing debut. On the big card as well. We definitely got to talk about it. We want all comments from you guys. Let us know what you guys thought about the Floyd Mayweather versus Logan Paul. But let's talk about Chad Johnson first, man. Let's get into that debut in this atmosphere in front of a crowd. What a crowd really wasn't that big when Chad Johnson made his debut.
No.
People was just sprinkle into the building, but you still there. You know, that's a huge platform to be in front of for your first fight. Never been in a boxing match before, and not that well versed in the boxing game. It ain't like you been doing this as a little kid and then start playing football and then, stop playing football, got right. This is an old man. All right, Chad Johnson. I mean,
He's not fresh off the gridiron by any means.
Did he legally change his name back to, from Ocho Cinco?
I guess, because I always thought that he was Ocho Cinco, but I guess.
But he did legally change his name to Ocho Cinco.
Right.
So now he's back is to the name that is
maybe he wanted to go by Chad Johnson just in case it didn't work out. Nobody would know it was him. You know what I'm saying? The people didn't know it was Ocho Cinco. They thought it was Chad Johnson, whoever that is.
The Ocho Cinco thing didn't work out too well.
It didn't.
But how do you think the boxing thing is going to turn out for him?
Not great.
Man, a bit serious.
It's not going to turn out great, Book. I mean, look, I got to be honest. A lot of this entire card was for some people a waste of money, I'm sure. But for Chad Ochocinco as a boxer, this ain't it. You know what I mean? Go do like some of the other guys do. Be like Tyron Woodley. Put out a rap album. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Go like Ron Artest, Meta World Peace. Go be like one of those guys. Because this ain't it. This is not it for Chad Johnson. He was knocked down, and then afterward he was tweeting like, "Oh man, this was so much fun. I was in there with a bare knuckle boxer, and I survived." I'm like, this is not a win, my man.
He was in there with what Rocky, what they would call on the first Rocky movie, a tomato can.
Yeah, a bum. This is what Nick would call him, right?
So for him to be touting how good of a night it was for him, God bless the brother, man. I heard he lost a whole lot of money on what fight was that?
That was the Masvidal, right?
But Masvidal, yeah, he lost a lot of money in the Masvidal fight. But this guy, man, I don't know, man. Wanting to be a star. I think that's what it is more than anything. I think trying to find that rush of being on the field. The celebrity reality show that him and what's the other guy did? Ocho and
I didn't see
Terrell
that.
Owens.
Terrell Owens was there too.
Yeah, you remember that?
Yeah.
They had the reality show there, and I think that's when both of them got fired around the same time. Telling like these fools lost their damn mind. They running around, trying to play games, having a reality show and whatnot. We trying to win football games, and the two just ain't working out. I don't know, man. I don't think the boxing game is going to work out for him. But kudos to trying. You know what I mean? Kudos for getting out there and throwing hands, because I'm gonna tell you right now, any man that walk inside those ropes, man, they got some big kahunas, man. They really do. To actually go out and just say, for instance, Chad Johnson got knocked out in that fight. To be able to do that in front of the world, man, that's big ups. You know what I mean? But I wouldn't do it. I'm gonna tell you that right now. I would not put myself on Front Street to go out there and get beat up in front of the world. It ain't gonna happen. I'm gonna make sure the odds are gonna be in my favor. You know what I mean? I ain't lying, man. I'm serious. I mean, I want a guy who ain't never had a fight or a wrestling match.
Right. Are you challenging me to a fight right now? Is that what you're doing? Is that what we're gonna promote next? You know what? We might
Uh,
be able to get some money for this, actually. You know what I mean?
no, we ain't gonna do that, man. We ain't gonna do that. But no, man, it's just was I don't know. What did you think this from the overall perspective?
From the overall, I would say this. I mean, production wise, it felt like more like a legit show,
Yeah.
unlike, the
Still was a
thriller
little
box.
long. Still was a little long.
A little long. You didn't need all those fights. We didn't want to see half those guys anyway. Um,
But we still got to talk about guys like Jared Hurd. You know what I mean? We got to talk about guys like Banu Jack. And
Jack,
the only reason, guys like Jack was on the card is because he's under the Mayweather banner. You
right?
and this guy every time, no matter what, I don't know what it is. Mayweather got a soft spot in his heart for Banu Jack. Jack. I like his name, Jack.
Great name.
Jack the Ripper. You know what I mean? I like his nickname. You know what I mean? But it's just always been a spot where he cannot get over the hump and become that mega star. He cannot go out and win that one fight that's going to put him over the hump. But I don't know. Like you say, from an overall perspective, I thought the production was better. I thought,
Yeah, I mean, it was a Showtime fight.
but I thought even with the Chad Johnson fight being, uh, a pretty quick fight. I thought they could have made it quicker. I thought the in between fights was way too long. I thought they could have got those guys out there. I don't know if these guys working off TV time or if they're a labor union. You know what I mean?
They must. Something's going on. Well, here's the thing, though. This is why I liked it more than the Triller Fight Club, because in the Triller Fight Club shows, they had about 7 concerts between each fight, right? And
Yeah,
I didn't mind seeing Doja Cat and a couple of these folks, but this one, it was such a one fight show, and I'm glad that they didn't do it in Vegas, because if they did it in Vegas, we'd still be waiting for the fight. At least they did it in Miami, so they got that main event on there around 9:45 or whatever it was.
yeah.
But it felt more like a boxing show than those Triller Fight Club ones. But I really have serious concerns with the sport moving forward during this phase. This is a phase that we're going through in boxing of this celebrity involvement. There's always been the exhibitions, right? I mean, Muhammad Ali and Antonio Inoki, right? There's always been exhibitions with the sport of boxing, but it's gotten to a point of ridiculousness ushered in by the Paul brothers. And I'm not hating on them, because I appreciate anybody who can go out there and get it done, but this was the proverbial jumping of the shark tonight.
I mean, but wait a minute. But wait a minute. Let's hold on for a second. Were we just praising, the Paul brothers just not so long ago after a successful night, of combat? Didn't we just do that not too long ago?
I think that we are praising the ability of Jake Paul. As far as this fight tonight, once we talk about the main event, I think that it's put the brakes on this whole experiment.
So now we got to stop it. Stop the press. Everybody, wait a minute. We ain't hiring nobody right now at this time type of moment. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes, we got to reconsider what we're doing now, and what we're charging money for people to see. That's what we got to really think about what we're doing for the sport moving forward.
And tell me, what gives you this concern?
Well, I mean, do we want to get into the main event?
No,
Because
we
the
don't
main
want
event's what gives me the concern.
to. I mean, we had a whole lot before we got to the main event, man. We had two legitimate fighters on the card. Okay, right?
Sure.
What were they the greatest fights in the world? I would say no, but when you got a guy, I don't know, you may not know the caliber fighter of a Jared Hurd. Jared Hurd was man. knocking on the door of the cusp of greatness no more than a couple of years ago. He got knocked off by J. Rock Williams. Nobody saw that coming. He's been on an uphill battle ever since. But before that, Jarrett Hurd, was the guy that was going out there beating guys that was supposedly unbeatable, like the Irish Lundy Laras of the world. And then to get him on a card like this, like I said, a lot of people may not know Jarrett Hurd, but for me, I want to see Swift Jarrett Hurd go out there and do his work, even though I know he was 1,001, as far as going out there and winning his fight tonight. That's what kind of fighter he had in the ring with him. But the fighter that showed up to fight Hurd, man, he wasn't no quitter. He wasn't the guy that was just going to go out there, just came to pick up a paycheck or anything like that. He fought, you know what I mean? So the fans, the true purists, the boxing purists, they got their money's worth out of seeing a guy like Hey, guys, we got to take a damn break. Stick around. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Booker T, 6-time world champ, 2-time Hall of Famer, and this is for all up-and-coming professional wrestlers, male and female. You want to know the ins and outs, the do's and don'ts. You got a question, I got the answer. If you want to know how, join my masterclass. Go to realityandwrestling.com for all the information, starting on Thursday and every Thursday after that, guys. Don't miss out. Don't get shut out. And I know you can dig that.
Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, guys. If you notice, I'm talking about Jarrett Hurd. Jarrett Hurd, a bad man. I'm talking about his stats, and I'm giving you everything I know about him because I don't know a damn thing about the guy that he fought.
But what does that say? You're the ultimate boxing fan. Right? You know all the ins and outs of all this stuff, and you don't even know who this guy was, and this is on a Floyd Mayweather pay-per-view card.
No. This goes back to the old Jake the Snake premise. You know what I mean? Me as a kid coming up, I used to love Jake, man. I used to love Jake the Snake Roberts. I didn't give a damn who he was wrestling. You know what I mean? I just wanted to see the DDT. I just wanted to see that short arm clothesline. I just want to see him crawl and get the snake out and let the snake crawl all over the guy. I didn't care about the other guy. Now, that's the way a lot of companies are built, by having, those enhancement guys, to get one over. I wouldn't be where I am right now if it wasn't for, certain guys out there, that got me over back in the day. I'm serious,
Okay.
So it's
but
same thing. Go ahead.
But Hurd does it for you enough that you don't care who he's fighting. You love watching him fight that much that you don't care who he's fighting.
Well,
and he'll make you spend your hard-earned money.
No,
like Jake the Snake.
No, the thing is, just like Jake, he used to always deliver the knockout. Right? I didn't care a lot of times who the guy was that was taking the knockout. I just wanted to do that. You know what I mean? Because it was, because it's my guy. It's Jake the Snake. He's doing his thing. And the same thing with Jarrett Hurd. Man, I want to see Swift Jarrett Hurd come out there and knock somebody out. It didn't go that way. I mean, he had a whole lot of trouble with a bona fide tomato can. And that right there is something that, I'm sure he didn't expect. I'm sure Floyd Mayweather and the organization didn't expect. I'm sure that they thought they were going to be getting in the ring a whole lot earlier than they had to tonight. I'm sure they did, just because of the vast difference in the fighters on both sides. Banu Jack, the guy that he fought, I don't know him. I've never
Last minute replacement.
exactly my point. And for a guy like that, even to go what 4 rounds with Jack, the thing is, did it do anything for Banu? No, but Jack went out there and got a knockout. It did a whole lot for his confidence. He's like Ryback right now. Feed me more. Feed me more. Feed me. He's like that right now. You know what I mean? So that's what I got out of it. But of course, you know, it was a whole lot to say about, you know, the main event, Floyd Mayweather versus Logan Paul. I think that's what people are going to be talking about, because there again, at the end of the day, you're always thinking about, you know, that last memory, that last thought in your head. What did I think about this fight? What when you leave, every time I go watch the Rockets play, you know what I mean? I always okay, wait a minute. The Texans. Okay, every time I go let's say the Texans. You know what I mean? I got season tickets. But every time I would leave the stadium, I would just feel like a mule kick me in the gut. You know what I mean? You know, I'm serious. And I'm like, I can't take no more of this. I can't take no more. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Well, that's how I think the majority of people who paid for this fight tonight definitely feel. You know, I'm seeing people in our live chat right now. People said, "Man, I wish I had my money back. Wish I had my money back." Some people said, "I didn't. I'm glad that I didn't have to pay for this fight." This was just such a farce book. It was just so
those
such a farce.
those guys. Do like I do. You know, a lot of times I wait for it to come out on YouTube, and just check out the highlights and whatnot. But I like doing an old school style, like they did back in the 30s. Where everybody didn't have a television, but they had a radio, and you just listen to it. So I pull up, one of these sites on YouTube where they're watching it and they're, doing the commentary for me, and giving me the blow by blow, and
Right.
actually, because I could do my cooking, you know what I mean? I can, do my cleaning, whatever I need to do, I can still keep doing it. And I ain't got to really think about focusing on, like what you call earlier, this farce.
It was though.
You know
Well,
what I mean?
here's the thing. I knew that this wasn't going to be a serious fight from the get-go, but I was really sure it wasn't going to be a serious fight when Logan Paul walked out to the ring with a diamond-encrusted Pokemon card around his neck, right? I said, he's just doing this to be a meme on Twitter, right? I mean, look, this man, they billed him from Puerto Rico, which is news to me. I didn't know that Logan Paul was Puerto Rican. That's an update. I guess that's where he is residing currently. He was 0-1 fighter, fighting a guy who's 50-0 and one of the top 3 greatest boxers of all time, the greatest defensive boxer of all time. Floyd, look, this is how serious Floyd took this fight. He came out with a head of hair, right? Floyd said, "You know what? I'm not even going to go baldy for this one. I'm not even going to look like Floyd Mayweather. I'm going to come pick up this check for $30 million. I'm going to play around for 8 rounds and and go in there and get the job done." I mean, it just from the get-go was silly. I knew here was actually the part where I knew it was going to be sillier than even the Jake Paul fights. When they were doing a tale of the tape and they said, "Let's take a look at Floyd Mayweather's exhibition history." And the first name they talked about and showed a picture of was the Big Show Paul White. And they talked about the Big Show fight. They talked about the Big Show fight on the pay-per-view card, right? I said, "Oh, this is what we're doing. Okay,
Oh, God.
this is where we are. We're talking about the Big Show." And apparently Logan did his camp in Puerto Rico. Thanks for letting me know, Robert Fletcher. I didn't know that. I was trying to figure out why he was built from Puerto Rico. But when you saw that,
Still, that should be by way of Puerto Rico or something like that, trained in Puerto Rico. It shouldn't be from he shouldn't be from Puerto
built
Rico.
from Puerto Rico, yeah, it was crazy. But when I saw the Big Show thing, I knew what we were doing. And the fight played out similar to the Conor McGregor one, really.
Yeah.
Except there was no knockout. There wasn't as many rounds, but there was no knockout. And I mean, even the fact that they pulled this off. I mean, congratulations to Floyd for cashing that check. But it was silly, book.
No, but you said a second ago, you think it's time to put a pause on this thing, and
Yes.
really delve into, how we should do this thing. You tell me. What do you think they should change?
I just think that now after this, people have such a bad taste in their mouth from just what we saw, which was a bunch of nothing. I mean, at one time, Logan Paul was throwing just punches like this, right? Just trying to throw almost like slaps that you do in the schoolyard. And it's such kind of an embarrassment to the sport of boxing. And I can get behind entertainment fight, like his brother has done. But this one was where they did the proverbial jumping of the shark. And I think that this is going to hurt the Paul business more than it's going to help the Paul business.
So you think that the Woodley Jake Paul fight is not going to bring the same,
No.
fair and the same attention, just because of the brother, Logan Paul. And the thing is, I don't think we should be, I know they're, both YouTubers and their brothers, but it's hard to compare Logan Paul and Jake Paul, as far as I'm concerned, because Logan Paul, like you said, is a guy who hadn't won a fight. Logan Paul is a guy who went out and fought another YouTuber, KSI, and lost. So I really don't know what the big deal is about Logan Paul. I don't know what the big deal about Floyd Mayweather fighting a guy who had, this is almost the equivalent, of no, I'm not going to say that because people are going to think I'm trying to make fun. But this is the equivalent of Floyd Mayweather fighting a guy. Let me just say it like this. This is the equivalent of Floyd Mayweather fighting a guy who's never had a fight before.
That's exactly what it was.
I mean, what?
It's exactly what it was.
And I think, that right there, that's the travesty in this thing right there. As far as Floyd went out and fought a guy who was, it was almost impossible for him to be. This wasn't like Rocky Balboa versus Apollo Creed. Okay. Apollo Creed was looking for a bum, to go out and beat up. But Rocky Balboa still was a fighter.
Right.
Still a guy that was in the clubs on a weekly basis, getting the crap beat out of him. And he was a tough guy even in the clubs. You know what I mean? But he was no Apollo Creed. So this is nothing, of the sort as far as being, near, equal as far as Floyd Mayweather going out and fighting a guy like that. Like I say, Floyd Mayweather at 40 years old, he's forgotten more about boxing than this guy will ever learn in his lifetime. So it definitely was. But a lot of people, just novice and people that, follow the Paul brothers, they really thought Logan Paul had a puncher's chance to go out and beat Floyd Mayweather in this fight tonight. This week.
I mean, they even called attention to it on the broadcast. If you looked at certain polls on Twitter, people said, "Oh, you know what? The younger, bigger, stronger fighter is going to be victorious." And I was like, maybe against any other 40-year-old, retired boxer, but not against Floyd Mayweather, who it doesn't matter how big you are, he's the greatest defensive boxer in the history of the game. Do you think that he's really going to let himself get touched on the chin? There was just no chance.
No chance in hell. Hey, guys, stick around. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute. Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, y'all. Yeah, man. A whole lot going on as far as the fallout of the Logan Paul and Floyd Mayweather spectacle. That's what that's what I'm gonna call it. The spectacle. But you know what, man? I ain't gonna hate and throw shade on Jake Paul versus Woodley because I want to see that.
I want to see it, but
Yeah,
I
I
just
want to see it. Jake Paul is now with Showtime Sports, right?
Yeah.
So my thing is, I'm sure Showtime is going to lend an ear as far as, man, we may need to change a few things up as far as the way we do this thing. Now, I'm sure the outcome and as far as the way this thing was set up, as far as this promotion goes, it had a whole lot to do with Floyd Mayweather and what he
Sure.
wanted. Okay.
Absolutely.
And I'm sure on the next one with Jake Paul in Showtime, it's going to be a whole lot different because I don't think Jake Paul is going to be too much thinking about or focusing on what happened underneath. Man, I got to think about going out here and getting this paper, putting this boy away, keeping my, little winning streak going, keeping the hype, behind, Jake Paul. Can't think about my brother right now. I got to think about Jake Paul and keeping this money train going and let Showtime do their business as far as, hey, guys, I ain't got nothing to do with that. You guys set that up. Don't you think Showtime, perhaps might do a hell of a lot better job than the money team as far as putting that undercard together?
I don't know. I mean, that remains to be seen because
I think so. I'm just saying.
I mean, I think that it's a low bar to clear. It's a low bar to clear.
Yeah.
So, I mean, sure. You know what? We have the chat here right now, and I want the chat to weigh in on this. Does this fight? There's a Logan Paul Mayweather fight. After the way it went out, the reception that it's had, will it make you want to watch the Jake Paul Tyron fight more or less? I say just write more or less in the chat because for me, I thought, man, this might have really punched this ticket because his brother Jake was doing a really good job of building the buzz, right? But this one, I just think that it just put a halt. It put a halt on the progress that they have made as a brother brand in the sport of boxing, in my opinion. And I just think that, am I going to watch the Tyron Jake Paul fight? Sure, because I know that we're going to talk about it, and I am interested in it. But moving forward, you're going to see, I guarantee you this, the pay-per-view numbers for Jake Paul Tyron are going to be about half of what it was for Ben Askren and Jake Paul. I guarantee it. I guarantee it.
Well, I mean, in the chat, I see everybody's saying less. You know what I mean? And the thing is, I get it. I totally understand. I wasn't a fan of pushing the button for that $49.99.
No.
Did I think it was worth it? Even with the undercard that they have, even with seeing Chad Johnson's debut, was $49.99 worth seeing that? I don't think so. Now, if the price was just say, for instance, $19.99, I probably would have just got it just on GP. You know what I mean?
Sure, I would have.
$49.99. I just don't want to make these suckers richer than they already are. And just put extra. It's just like giving them an extra. If I give them $49.99, that's like giving them an extra $25 tip. You know what I'm saying?
It's like it's not necessary.
It ain't necessary to do. You know what I mean? So my thing is, I think the number's going to go down. And I think the love affair over a period of time is going to move past the Paul brothers. Will anybody else be able to recreate what the Paul brothers have done? I don't think so. I think when somebody do something like this, it's normally the first guys that get the bite of the apple is the only one that get to bite it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree.
Everybody else, seem to, just miss out on that tech deal. You know what I mean? The Bitcoin. You got to get in on that kind of stuff early. You know what I mean?
Right.
So yeah, I don't know. Like I say, I don't think people are going to be thrilled about it.
Well. Also, I mean, just Logan's performance in the fight. I mean, if you look at it, I was reading you the stats here earlier. Mayweather landed 40% of all of his punches thrown. He landed 43 out of 107 punches thrown, and even 107 punches, not a whole hell of a lot in a 8-round boxing match. Logan Paul threw 217 punches.
Not a lot of
Right,
punches.
more than double Floyd. He landed 28 out of 217 punches for a total of 13% landed. I mean, what are we talking about, Booker? Booker, what are we talking about? If
Well,
I threw 217 punches, I would like to think I'd land more than 10.
I agree with you, man. I agree with you. I agree with you. They could have did a whole lot more as far as preparing the brother. Then again, I don't think they could have prepared him no more than they could have as far as him to come out and fight Floyd Mayweather. Come on, he's fighting the best, literally the best fighter that has ever put on a pair of gloves. What did the world really expect Logan Paul to go out there and do? Knock Floyd out, beat him up. And when nobody else, out of 50 fighters, legitimate fighters, they didn't beat him up, but the YouTuber, he's gonna be the guy. He's gonna be the guy. He's got the magic bullet that's gonna, put a halt to all of this thing and just derail everything before. I don't know, man. I do know one thing. Floyd Mayweather over his past, you know what? I would even say last 4 fights. Because when he retired, he fought Andre Berto. We can throw him in with these guys.
That's not fair to old Andre. So let me ask you this though: Connor, Tenzin Natsukawa, and now Logan Paul. Floyd making umpteenth millions. He made the most for the Conor McGregor fight, and I think out of the 3, the Conor fight was the most entertaining. And it had the most pomp and circumstance. And it had the most questions. I mean, I think that we all knew that Conor wasn't going to win that fight, but we at least thought it was interesting, right? We at least thought it was interesting. Tenzin Natsukawa, nobody was trying to see all that, and he got him out of here quick. And Logan Paul, I don't even think it was interesting. I think Logan Paul wasn't the draw, right? Like Jake Paul in the Askren fight, in my opinion, was the draw.
Well,
Floyd was the draw.
Well, that kind of like, that's where the question come in more than anything. Why was Floyd fighting, Logan Paul?
Because Logan probably said, here's 30 million.
Logan Paul, I mean, what has he done to warrant a fight other than, call Floyd out? I mean, I'm just trying to figure. Jake Paul, I get it. I do too. I get Jake Paul. Jake Paul's hot. I mean, it looks like the kid has some boxing skills. To waist Ben Askren the way he did, it looks like, man, if I want to fight somebody, this is the guy I'm going to fight. But Floyd, has always been very, very smart as far as the boxing game goes. Anyway, he's been very, very calculating as far as the boxing game goes. And Floyd has always thought about one thing at the end of the day, and that's, how big the check is going to be. Now, Floyd is really, really smart. If the plan is to fight Logan Paul later on, you know what I mean? Let Logan Paul get past, T. Woodley. Boom. Now we got another fight. That's another 30 million for Floyd to do nothing. And if Floyd could have, three more of these kind of fights, and ride off in the sunset, man, he would be the smartest dude in the world to have done it this way. And because like Floyd say, this is easy work. This is easy money. Go and pick this up. The Natsukawa stuff, that was so easy. Man, the flight was, was harder than the fight. He lied, man.
You're absolutely right.
I'm serious.
Absolutely
right.
Being
on that flight for 12 hours, to Tokyo was harder than actually getting in the ring. The ring walk was longer than the fight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that had to be some of the easiest money. And then the Conor McGregor thing, that was easy money, man. People can say what they want to say, but that was, the easiest, I don't know, $100 million or whatever it was.
$100 million.
That was the easiest payday, Floyd has ever picked up. And now with this kid, a nobody. Come on. I just saw something just came up there. Pacquiao fight.
Yeah.
Spence.
So Eric wants to know what you think about Pacquiao Spence.
Let's talk
Is
about
I don't.
that.
Is that
Let's talk-
official?
Let's talk about that. That's going to be August 21st. That's going to be on the same day as SummerSlam. And I just was reading over the weekend that the main event at SummerSlam is going to happen before the Pacquiao fight go in the ring. So I got a chance to actually, if I got to be there at SummerSlam, I got a chance to skip on over to the MGM and catch that fight at the same time. And what a night. What a night that would be if we could all make if the culmination of that could just come to fruition. Would definitely be. That's what I'm thinking about. Making it happen. Yeah.
Let me ask you one more thing. When you're saying Floyd needs to do one or two more of these and then go ahead and get out of the game, just thought just crossed my mind. If it's an exhibition, it doesn't count anyway. He fought tonight a guy who's much taller than him, weighed 30, 40 pounds more than he did, and was half his age. But what if Floyd fights somebody who's older than him? What if we get Mike Tyson versus Floyd Mayweather? You want to cash out and ride off into the sunset? Let these guys fight. Let them fight. If we're going to go ridiculous, let's go ridiculous. Let's go all the way.
Video game crazy, man.
Tyson versus Mayweather. Make it happen. I mean, why not at this point? Seriously.
Hey, man.
Why not?
I said, who was it? I said the Mayweather Conor McGregor fight would never go off. I said the commission would never let that happen. You know what? Let them fight.
You know how much money they would make? Do you know how much money a Tyson Mayweather fight would make?
Yeah, it'll be a hell of a draw. And Mike ain't that for a pass, being a guy that, Floyd may think he can match up with. You know what I mean? So I think that'll be good, man. But the thing I think, I know we got to get out of here. But the thing I think we need to kill with these exhibition fights more than anything is calling them exhibitions. All right, we need to get rid of that. We need to get judges, and it's got to be a winner. If we're gonna make this thing worth watching,
I agree.
For me as a guy who want to bet, you know what I mean? Because how you gonna bet on an exhibition when both guys get their hands raised when there's no definitive winner? We need the exhibition title to go out the winner and let it just be old line versus old line versus young line, whatever it is. But we need to just go ahead and make this paper, baby. But we got to get out of here, man. We got to get out of here. Hope you guys enjoyed the fallout of the Logan Paul Floyd big money Mayweather after tonight weekend. And hope you guys enjoy some Hall of Fame coming up. This week, guys, we preempted. Basketball game is going to be preempting us. But stay tuned, man, because it's going to be a whole lot more Hall of Fame coming right at you. Just like Doug Cornelius. It's all going to be a stone gas, honey. Hey, we got to get up out of here, man. We out.